is Nelson George. I have a new book coming out called City Kid, and I figured so much of it takes place in Fort Greene. I do a little walking tour of just 5.5 black culture spots. The first one I would say is 132 Adelphi. That little black door down there is where Spike Lee lived when he made She's Gotta Have It. It's not the most beautiful place and not the most picturesque, but that's where one of the most important independent films of all time was created, conceived in a little editing machine in that room. The second stop is 175 Carlton. This is where Richard Wright lived in 1938. He lived with some friends, rented a room, and wrote Native Son. He would go into Fort Greene Park and in the mornings and write Native Son. The 2.5 is this bench here, and this bench is the Richard Wright Writer's Bench, which I'm sitting on in this shot. It's dedicated to the fact that Richard Wright created a literary landmark, largely in this park. The spot number 3 is sort of my house. Well, I lived there from 1985 to 1992. That's 19 Willoughby Avenue, corner of Willoughby and Carlton. I wrote a gang of books, including one of my best, The Deaf Rhythm and Blues. CB4 I did with Chris Rock came out of this living room. I met Spike Lee and really bonded with Spike Lee in this apartment. Parties, art of all kinds came out of this spot. 19 Willoughby Avenue, which is a big part, plays a huge role in City Kid. The next space is the Brooklyn Moon Cafe on Fulton Street in Fort Greene. This was the centerpiece of the Brooklyn spoken word scene. Sarah Jones, Erykah Badu, Mos Def, Kevin Powell. So many people read in this spot. In fact, because there were people upstairs, you had to snap your fingers instead of clapping. So that was a huge part of it, and that was the early 90s, a huge part of the Fort Greene scene. Number 5 on my little walking tour is Moshe. It's a clothing store. It's been in Fort Greene forever, providing Afrocentric clothing and a sort of a center of the Afrocentric community in Brooklyn. In a tenement upstairs, Erykah Badu had an apartment while she recorded Baduism, her first album, classic neo-soul album. That's number 5 of my 5.5 on this Fort Greene Black Art Walking Tour. More to come. Check out City Kid. Comes out in April. Peace.